Hello and welcome to the Adventure Toolkit example reel number 8. My name is Glenn Storm and I'm from Hot Iron Productions. Today we're going to continue looking at tools from the cinematic folder, starting with the Captions Manager. The Captions Manager tool is designed to display captions at the bottom of your viewport. In other words, it's going to display clear text that can take the place of closed caption dialog or credits or some other case where you need to clearly display text. Let's look at the properties of the Captions Manager. First is an array called captions, and it's important to note the Captions Manager does not work alone. It works with our captions trigger, which we're going to look at in just a second, but for the purpose of demonstration I will go ahead and add some captions that aren't really going to be there for now. The caption speaker is the first property here, and what this is saying is it will give you the option to define the speaker if this is dialogue, and it will format your text, the next property, to look like it is being spoken by this speaker. In other words, I could say someone and they say blah blah blah, and what that will look like is someone colon blah blah blah, and that will clearly define this as a spoken piece of text, in other words dialogue. Okay, that's what caption speaker is. Caption text is the main text of the caption, and whether you're using this as dialogue or credits or whatever, this is the main field that you want to use. The next property under Captions Manager Captions is the captions duration. This is the number of seconds that the captions will remain on screen before disappearing. Okay, as I said, these are populated automatically by the captions trigger. I just wanted to show this to you because the captions trigger also uses these captions. Okay. The next property on the Captions Manager is captions padding. This is the number of seconds to delay between each caption, so that you can show a caption and then delay this amount of time before showing the next one. The next property is captions depth, and like a lot of tools in the Adventure Toolkit, this will overlay graphics on the viewport. This property, captions depth, describes a layer depth for the captions, and you will be ordering these layers, whether you're talking about HUD layers or an overlay fader layer, which we'll look at in a second, or captions. You want to order them so that the depth that is least is frontmost and on top of all the other layers. So we are going to leave this at a default value of -1 because quite often you would like your captions to be on top of everything else and be clearly visible. The last property on the Captions Manager is captions muted. Again, this is a property that is managed for you. On our menu manager there is a default setting to mute captions, turn them on or off. So that will check this box for you when it is muted. It is here so that you can see what's going on at runtime. Okay, so that's the Captions Manager. Let's look at the captions trigger before we start the scene. The properties on the captions trigger will look familiar because it starts with our same captions array. So you'll see caption speaker, caption text, and caption duration. What I've done on this trigger is define a simple caption with no speaker, so it just displays text that says here are some captions, and it does so for 2 seconds. Then someone is talking, so I have a caption speaker of someone, and they say, what are captions for? And that's for a duration of 2 seconds. And then a narrator replies over the course of 5 seconds and says captions can be used for da 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 blah blah blah. Okay, so I've populated this captions trigger. Let's look at the next property. It's captions delay, and this is the number of seconds from the activation of this tool until the signal to the Captions Manager is sent. Okay, so it's going to wait half a second and then send these 3 captions to the Captions Manager for display. The last property on the captions trigger is reset on trigger, and if this is checked, it will deactivate the trigger after the caption signal is sent and get it ready for reactivation so you can use it over and over. Let's go ahead and hit play and activate our captions trigger so that you can see what it looks like. Here are some captions. What are captions for? Captions can be used for dialogue, for credits, or anywhere you want to say something without using audio. Okay. That is the Captions Manager, and that is the captions trigger. The last tool to look at in our cinematic folder is the overlay fader. The overlay fader tool is designed to overlay the viewport with a full screen image. So you can use an image that is full screen and covers the whole screen, like my title card image here, which happens to be black and just has some text that says here is a simple title card. Or you could use an image with transparency and do some more interesting effects, perhaps a blood splatter or raindrops or something else. I mean, you can get some interesting effects with the overlay fader, and I guess we'll have to go over that during another demonstration. For now, let's look at the properties on the overlay fader. First is the overlay image, and I've defined my title card. Next is the overlay depth, and again, we need to order our images that are overlaying the viewport. We're going to leave this at a default of 0. Typically, you want the overlay to cover the screen, but you'll notice that it's 1 higher than the depth of our captions, because typically you want captions to be visible at all times. The next property is overlay fade up, and if this is checked, we are telling the tool to fade up on this title card as opposed to making it appear abruptly. The next property is fade up start, and this is a delay in seconds from the activation of this tool until the fade up begins. The next property is fade up duration, and this is the length of time the fade up will occur. And if you do not want that to be a linear fade up, you can use the fade up interpolation to define something a little more interesting with our curve editor. The next properties are involving fade down, and it starts with overlay fade down. If this checkbox is checked, it will fade down the title card and fade it out to transparent. Fade down start works the same way as fade up start. It will delay in seconds until the fade down begins. And this is from the end of the fade up. Okay, so we're going to wait half a second, fade up over the course of 1 second, and then after 2 more seconds we will begin our fade down. The next property is fade down duration. This is the length of time in seconds the fade down will occur. If you do not want that to happen linearly, again, you have a curve editor. You can use fade down interpolation to define something more interesting. And the last property is reset on complete. If this box is checked, it will deactivate the overlay fader tool and get it ready for reactivation so you could use this over and over again. Let's go ahead, let's hit play, let's activate our overlay fader and watch it fade up on our simple title card and fade back down. Okay, that is the overlay fader tool. That is all the tools in the cinematic folder, and that is all the time we have on this video. Please stay tuned for the next one where we talk about tools from the event folder.